Hey, how long does it take to pull your customer onboarding data together for reporting? Do you have a report you can pull up right now to see how your in-flight onboardings are progressing? If your answers were too long and not right now, then this video is for you. My goal is to show you just how little time it takes to get the onboarding visibility you need in a single HubSpot dashboard. I've got my timer here. We'll start that now and let's get into it. Let's go over to reports and we're going to go ahead and create a new dashboard for onboarding visibility. And inside of this dashboard, which we're going to make available to everybody, we're going to go ahead and create that and come back and find it, which is over here. Inside of that, we are going to go ahead and create our first report using the custom report builder here, which is going to be for onboarding status. So we're going to use tickets because we're managing onboardings in a ticket pipeline. So we scroll all the way down here. We have tickets, we click next, and then we're going to use the vertical bar chart graph type here to create a report which looks at the create date of the ticket on the x-axis, and that's going to be grouped monthly. And then we're going to have the count of tickets, that's going to be on the y-axis. And then we're going to break that down by, we have arrows, plan status, I believe it's called. There it is. And what arrows plan status is going to be whether that is a complete plan, a failed plan, or an in-progress plan. So you can see here in our demo account, we have a fair range of values here, but you see some that are complete, some that are active, and we have the breakdown of those plans across the report. So this is going to be onboarding by status and start month. If I go ahead and one thing that you always want to try to do here is filter to make sure that we are only including the pipeline that is responsible for onboarding, just in case we have, in this case, tickets, but if we have a pipeline which is being used for support, for example, or if you're in deals, then maybe you have a sales pipeline as well. Just make sure that you always filter the pipeline to the one that actually has the objects in it that you want to look at in your report. We can see that got rid of a lot. That's it. First report done. I'm going to go ahead and save that report, add it to an existing dashboard for onboarding visibility, and we will go back to our dashboard and go all the way back here and see that we have this report now created. And our next one that we're going to go and create is going to be onboarding plans by health. So complete, stuck, off track, progressing, and slow. And this one's going to be a little bit more complicated because we're going to have to go and create a property and figure out how to update that property to show health. So throw myself a little bit of a curveball here, but let's get into that one. So what we're actually going to do is we are going to go to our settings over here. We're going to go to objects, tickets, manage ticket properties, and then we're going to create a new property in, let's see, we will put it in account activity, and we're going to call this onboarding health, and we're going to make it a drop down select, and our options are going to be as we have in the task here: complete, stuck, off track, progressing, and slow. So we're going to have complete, we're going to have stuck, we're going to have progressing, and we're going to have slow. Let's just call this one off track, and we won't do slow. Okay, so next, create. So we now have a property, and one thing that we can now do is in a workflow, if I go over to automations and workflows, we're going to go ahead and create a new workflow. We're going to make that a ticket-based workflow because our onboarding object, in this case, is tickets. And the enrollment criteria that we're going to use are going to be the things that we're going to use to determine the value that we're going to set our onboarding health property to. So I'm actually going to skip ahead here and put in a branch, and we're going to make that based on matching criteria. And we're going to set the branch names here to be equal to the statuses that we have. So we're going to have complete, we're going to add filter, and then we're going to add another branch for stuck. We're going to add another branch for off track. We're going to add another branch for progressing. Okay, and then we're going to save that so that we have it in there. We, of course, do need to go and update all our criteria, but we're going to work backwards through this. So if it's complete, we are going to set the property value of the onboarding health property to complete. Save that. If it's stuck, we're going to set property value of the onboarding health property to stuck. Save that. If it's off track, we're again, you probably get the idea by now that this is going to be setting the onboarding health property to off track. And of course, these values and these definitions that we're going to get into in just a second here will be specific to your business, specific to your onboarding process. The idea is to help you understand how the system works so that you can set this up using your own criteria as needed. And then, of course, we're going to build a report on this. And then this is something that I would always recommend doing is create a task. You could send an email as well, but creating a task means you have a permanent record. That just means data out of range, setting onboarding health. And hopefully this task never gets created, but it's always a good idea to have a fallback if things aren't working as expected in a workflow. So let's just go up here and name this while we're here. And we will call this onboarding, let's see, set onboarding health. Okay, and now we get into the fun part, which is going to be defining what will put a particular ticket or a particular customer in any one of these buckets. So in this case, we're going to look at complete and we're going to say when the arrows, we're going to look at ticket properties and we're going to say when arrows plan status is equal to complete. That's that one. Next, we're going to take a look at stuck branch, and we're going to come in here and we're going to add a filter, ticket properties. I'm going to search for due date. I'm going to look for arrow's current task due date is more than 7 days ago. If anything's been stuck here for more than a week, we definitely want to be updating the status there and making sure that we're making the necessary improvements. Then we're going to go to off track. This one, we're just going to say, again, ticket properties. I'm going to say overdue tasks is greater than or equal to 1. We're going to move it into that. We're also going to say, in this particular case, that due date property that we just set in stuck is going to be less than 7 days ago, because otherwise we will be bumping into our stuck status. Next, we can go on to our progressing status, and we're just going to add a filter here that says if our overdue tasks is equal to 0, then that's going to be that one. Or if our overdue tasks is unknown, just in case for whatever reason that value hasn't been synced. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And now we should have all of our branching logic set up to be setting the onboarding health property on our onboarding record. So we have complete, stuck, off track, progressing. And what's going to happen here when we go back and set this up is we're just going to need to make sure that in our enrollment trigger, we are both turning on re-enrollment so that every time something is object has a change, we are updating it. We're also going to need to make sure that we're enrolling it when all these properties are known. So we have used, so far, we've used arrows plan status. So we're going to say when that is known, or when overdue tasks is known. So again, ticket properties and overdue tasks is known. Or we also used due date, right? So we're going to use task due date, and then again is known. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. We have our enrollment trigger here. We're just going to come up and turn on re-enrollment for all of these different criteria. We're going to save that, review and publish, and yes, we want to enroll existing tickets, and we'll turn that on. So now we should have values for onboarding health for all of our existing tickets. And now if we go back, we can go and actually build the report that will show us the data on what is happening here. So we can go back to our reports, we can create a report, go to custom report builder, choose my own data. Again, we're going to select, it's all the way down at the bottom here, we're going to select tickets, and we're going to go to next. And this time what we're going to do is we are going to drag in along the bottom, we are going to drag in pipeline. So we want, let's see, we know that on the y-axis we want onboarding health property. And we can put that on the x-axis actually. And then we want our count of tickets, can be on the y-axis. And that should give us a breakdown of all the different plans that we have in our pipeline. And we can also break them down. Let's do pipeline. We actually want to use status if we're in a ticket. So we're going to do ticket status. So that's going to give us the breakdown of where each of these plans are in terms of which phase of the journey they're in. So here you can see the ones that are off track. We have one in gathering info, one in venue review. But most importantly, we need to also make sure that we are using the correct pipeline here. So not just grabbing anything, as we talked about previously. We want to make sure that we are using only our onboarding pipeline. Go ahead and apply that. And here we go. We just have one status in here, few with no value. But again, you can see the face. I'm going to go ahead and save this report. So this is going to be onboarding by health and stage. We can go ahead and save that report. We are going to add it to an existing dashboard, which is going to be our onboarding visibility dashboard. Save and add. And let's just go back and take a really quick look at the dashboard that we've made so far. Here we now have our two reports. We have onboarding by status and start month and onboarding by health and stage. And you can see we have, as the data started to come in, more of the values in here for our plans. At this point, let's go back to our task list and see where we are. So we have plans by start date and status, onboarding plans by health. And then this next, we're going to do plans by pipeline stage and rep. So this is going to be at least a sort of leading indicator of capacity for our reps. So to do that, we're going to, from our dashboard, we're going to go back to add report. So we're going to create a new report and use the custom report builder. Again, choose my own sources. Again, go to tickets and next. And this time, again, we're going to do a bar chart. We're going to pull in count of tickets again on the y-axis. We are going to pull in the ticket owner. The ticket owner here is going to be the breakdown, and the x-axis is going to be by status, ticket status. We go on the x-axis. So here, once this comes down, you'll see there's a lot of phases in here. But again, if we go to our filters and again add that pipeline, is any of onboarding pipeline. The stages here should get reduced significantly. So here, again, ready for onboarding, kickoff, scheduled, account setup. And you can see the number of tickets, the number of customers during the onboarding process that each rep in the process is responsible for. So this time we're going to have onboarding by status and rep. And we're going to save that. Again, we're going to add that to onboarding visibility dashboard, save and add. Okay, so let's go back to our onboarding visibility dashboard, and we're going to go ahead and create our next report. And this is going to be probably the simplest, but one of the most impactful reports we're going to create today. We're again going to use tickets as our data source. We're going to use a simple table here, and this one is just going to have the ticket's name as a column. And the important work that we're going to do here is in the filters. We are again going to add the pipeline to make sure that we're only looking at onboarding pipeline. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. And then we're also going to include, for our purposes, we're going to include arrows. Let's see, arrows plan URL. Because what that means, if this property is known, is that we have an Arrows collaborative onboarding plan attached to this onboarding record. So you can see now that we have a list of the companies that do not have that onboarding plan attached. So we need to go and check and fix that. So let's say this is our missing data report. We're going to go ahead and save that. And we're going to add it to our onboarding visibility dashboard, save and add. And then we're going to go ahead and create our final report. If we go all the way back to our dashboard, we now have 4 reports. And the final one that we're going to add is going to be a list of customers who have overdue tasks. So we are going to, again, go to tickets, go to next, and then we are going to have ticket name. This is, again, going to be a table, actually. And we are going to filter to, again, pipeline is going to be any of onboarding pipeline. Go ahead and apply that change. And then we are going to also have that arrows, let's see, overdue, arrows overdue tasks. We drag that in. We're going to say that that is greater than or equal to 1, meaning there is at least one overdue task in this plan. And then we are going to come back here, and in our columns, we're going to add some additional columns to give us more context. So we're going to say current, let's see, arrows current task name, and go ahead and add that. Arrows current task assignee, and add that. And we are also going to add arrows current task due date. So now you can see that we have a little table here, which gives us the name of the onboarding, the current task that they're on, and the due date. We're not going to want that to be monthly. We are going to want that to be daily. So go ahead and apply that. And then this is going to be customers with overdue onboarding tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Again, add that to our onboarding visibility dashboard. And then when I come all the way back to our dashboard, you can now see, and we can of course rearrange these reports as we want, but we now should have 5 reports that we've created: onboarding by status and start month, onboarding by health and stage, onboarding by status and rep, onboardings with missing data, and customers with overdue onboarding tasks. So I would probably actually move this one up nearer to the top, but that is a dashboard. That's as long as it takes to get onboarding visibility in your HubSpot account. Everybody can, of course, get access to this report who has access to HubSpot. And one thing that I would certainly recommend doing is emailing this dashboard, setting it as a recurring email. This is going to be our onboarding status update. Let's maybe make that weekly. You can add as many internal recipients as you need, add a message, and schedule this to be weekly. I like to send it Sunday nights so that everybody has it in their inbox on Monday, maybe 8 p.m., something like that, or you can send it super early Monday morning. The whole point of this is, if we go ahead and schedule that, is that giving everybody visibility into customer onboarding makes it much, much easier for everybody to know where customers are, who's getting stuck, and ultimately help every customer be more successful during their journey. If you made it this far in the video, first, thanks so much for being here and sticking with it. And if you're thinking I cheated a little bit and the data in my dashboards is not available in your HubSpot account, then you'd be absolutely right. A lot of what we used in our onboarding reports is being updated in HubSpot as customers are making progress in our Arrows collaborative onboarding plan that's attached to each ticket. If you want to learn more about how that works, you should definitely check out this video that goes into much more depth about Arrows onboarding plans and the integration with HubSpot. So thank you so much for watching. I hope I've shown it's totally possible to give everybody at your company visibility into what's happening in onboarding in less than 20 minutes. And I'll see you in the next video.